I was told voice of the customer was dead. So welcome to another One Take Thursday. It's the second one. We'll see where things go. Today, I want to talk about, why do I care so much about voice of the customer, about VOC? But first things first, I would like you to go out there and subscribe to the channel. It's how I can help grow this channel, let others hear this conversation, let others be able to enjoy and engage with this conversation. I'd love to turn this into even more of a conversation through your comments below. I'd love to get some feedback as to what are the topics you'd want to talk about. What would you want to hear on One Take Thursday? What did you think about this one? What are your thoughts? Disagree with me. Let's make this a discussion. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the One Take Thursday. So let me tell you a little story. So I was in a conversation. It was someone that was going to be a future podcast guest for CX Passport. And we got to talking about the usual things, right? It was someone from the customer experience world. So we were talking about customer experience initiatives, customer experience ideas. What does the future look like? Digital versus humanity. We got to talking about, how to make the experience better for a customer. How do we create better business results? How do we find ways to reduce costs? All the classic conversations around customer experience. And then they said something that really shocked me. They said, Rick, VOC is dead. What's that now? I actually asked him, I said, say that again? Rick, VOC is dead. What? I mean, clearly that cut to my heart. Anybody that's seen what I've been talking about lately, what I think is the foundation of customer experience is voice of the customer. So it absolutely cut to me. We kept the conversation going. It wasn't like this was some sort of toxic and then now a massive disagreement, but it really shocked me to hear somebody say that. And as I thought about that conversation and why would that person have such a different perspective than I do when I think that voice of the customer is so absolutely vital. And I think it comes down to sort of three themes. One is just a misunderstanding of what voice of the customer is, what it truly is, what a total voice of the customer approach can truly do. And I still think there's a large population out there that thinks that voice of the customer equals survey. And the two words are interchangeable. No, survey equals survey. Voice of the customer is so much more, or rather, a total voice of the customer approach is much more. I may end up saying this on every single One Take Thursday, but stop, survey, and score. Start, listen, and act. That's if I stop talking there, that captures everything that I really want to say about voice of the customer. But of course, hey, it's One Take Thursday. I'm going to keep going a bit, but that's what voice of the customer is. How do you listen and observe customers? Knows listen and observe, right? It's not just what they say, it's what they do. How do you understand the main themes? And then what are you doing with it, both externally to restore relationships, but also internally to improve the company? I think that misunderstanding, maybe it's a branding, maybe that's the statement. It's not just misunderstanding, maybe it's branding. A second theme comes to mind, and I'm reminded of something that I know it's a phrase that's out there, but the first time I heard it was retail isn't dead, boring retail is dead. And it was way back long ago. Brooke Bayer back in CX Passport episode 3 is the one who talked to me about that concept. And so to those who think VOC, voice of the customer, is dead, you're wrong. Voice of the customer isn't dead. Voice of the customer is dead. A voice of the customer approach that thinks that a 15-minute survey is going to really understand what your customer thinks and all of your customers, as opposed to the three people that are willing to fill out a 15-minute survey. Or maybe it's that faux attempt at sending out that, oh, we're so sorry that happened to you. We'll make sure and make all these improvements, when it's so clearly a form letter and no one's ever going to do anything about it. And the customer thinks, forget it. This person's not going to do anything with this feedback. I'm never going to give you that input. Or, maybe you're asking questions that you should already know. All right. Don't ever ask a customer a question, a data point, a piece of fact, or anything like that you should already know. And I know many have said this, but I specifically think of Ashley Stark at JP Morgan Chase. She and I worked together back at Capital One, but that was a key point of her as she was establishing an ongoing voice of the customer program. Is I'm never going to ask a question that we internally should already know about the customer. And that point has never left my mind. And for heaven's sake, don't ever ask a question that you don't plan to do something about. Don't go off on this curiosity curiosity hunt of, well, okay, so are you left-handed and do you like blue skies and do you eat peanut butter with chips? I, because you might be curious and you want to find some little slice of it, that just is going to kill a voice the customer approach. And that actually kind of reminds me of something, and it may be a future One Take Thursday. Something Michelle Brigman said at a recent CX DFW event, and it was this idea of, don't let your customer experience team devolve into just being order takers. Actually be the insight leaders, the thought leaders, the strategy drivers. That's a whole different thread. But if you're being asked about that peanut butter and chips question about your customer, maybe it's time to wonder, are we the order takers or are we the thought leaders here? And then the third is all related to all of that. It's sort of the so what of voice of the customer. And I know this is getting very dangerously close to the ROI of customer experience discussion. That's not what I intend to do. It's close though, but it's this thought of not doing voice of the customer for simply voice of the customer's sake. That's just, I don't know, an attempt at job security. I'm not sure what it might be. It certainly won't be job secure if there's nothing that comes out of it. If there's no point to the program, then why do it? So make sure that there's some, I'm thinking if someone's saying voice of the customer is dead, they're probably exposed to programs that just sort of exist to put up, charts around the meeting so that we can see if the score went up or the score went down. Or it's something that is intended to just sort of, okay, we'll do a little poster that hey, we're customer centric or something along those lines. If there's really no point to it, if you're not trying to actually drive business results, then you know what? Maybe that is an example of voice of the customer is dead, because that voice of the customer should absolutely die. So, maybe it's just branding. Maybe it's this misunderstanding of what voice of the customer means. Clearly, a total voice of the customer approach is center to me and how I think that a company can really get at the root of customer experience, but not just customer experience, even that. Why do customer experience? For business results, for improving your company, for reducing costs. It's for all the things that exist from a profitable business perspective. I believe that voice of the customer is the foundation that you can do that. So it isn't dead. Total voice of the customer absolutely should live on. So in that vein, little prompt here, little call to action for y'all. A week from now, the total voice of the customer workshop's coming out. So don't make a $50 million career mistake. Find out how to avoid that $50 million career mistake and join that webinar. Sign up at totalvoc.com. You'll get a place to save your seat there and join us on February 9th at noon Central USA time. And again, let me close out, right? Be sure and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Would love to have you as a subscriber. Would love to be able to get your ongoing input into what this One Take Thursday rambling should be. What topics should we talk about? What topics should we continue down in the comments? So let me know what you think down there in the comments about this topic, about other topics that you want to hear, and let's continue a conversation. So until the next One Take Thursday, I wish you all the very best. And get out there and let your voice of the customer flag fly.